Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Bettina and I'm the makeup enthusiast. In this video I'm going to be doing my monthly roundup of my 2 palettes 1 month video. So I'm going to be showing you swatches, I'm going to be showing you all the looks I created with these 2 palettes. Also going to be giving you some dupes of some of the shades in the palettes from what I found in my existing collection, as well as my final thoughts. So I used the Blush Tribe Munaza palette and the Viseart Tryst palette for the month of February. So if you want to see my final thoughts on these palettes, then keep on watching. So in an attempt to use up what I have in my collection and use what I have, enjoy what I have been selecting a few palettes each month to focus on and bring you a mini review of the palettes after 1 month of using the palettes. For the month of February, I picked out the Blush Tribe Munaza palette and the Viseart Tryst palette. So this is what the Viseart palette looks like on the inside. There is this clear perspex thing that you can take off, but it does sit in the palette if you want to keep it in there. It is a bit frustrating though that the names of the colours are on the piece of perspex rather than on the pans. This is a very romantic Valentine's Day-esque palette. It's got a lot of pinky colours in there and a lot of shimmers. Out of the whole palette there are only 2 mattes in here. There is a matte that has a sparkle in it, which basically when you blend it out ends up as a matte anyway, and then we have 5 shimmers. The Viseart formula is really nice. I did enjoy playing with this over the month. I didn't find that I ended up with many variations of looks with this palette. I generally stuck with the same look every day. I will swatch these for you. So that's all the shades of the palette there. Like I said, very romantic. This palette you can get from Sephora Australia for $82. Beautylish is $49 US. So it is a pretty pricey palette. It is only 9 pans. $82 for a 9 pan palette is absolutely absurd in my opinion. And I'll show you the look as well that I came up with. Moving on to the Munaza palette. This one here is only available on the Blush Tribe website at the moment. It is $47, but it is however 16 shades, and you do have to pay for shipping from the Blush Tribe website, as opposed to with Viseart you would be getting free shipping from Sephora Australia or Beautylish if you spend, I think it's over $60 with Beautylish. This palette has a total of 10 mattes and 6 shimmers, and it does have a huge variety of colours with the mattes. I really need to work on my swatches. So that is the Munaza palette fully swatched for you on my arm there. This is the first look that I'm going to be doing with the Blush Tribe Munaza palette, and I'm going to dip into some of the brighter colours today and see what we can create. I'm just starting off by priming my eyes with the MAC Painterly Paint Pot face powder. So this is the Australis Fresh and Flawless in Natural, and I'm just setting that eyeshadow base. So I'm going to start off with Lubna. I'm just going to pop that in my crease. Going to dip into the Aziza color and just place it in the outer third of my crease, just in like this little bit here, so just after like halfway, just to deepen it up a little bit. Then dipping into Medea, placing that on the outer corner and blending it into the crease. I think I might go with this teal colour for the lid, and that is Aftab, and I'm just going to go on like a flat shader brush. This one's very dirty, so I'm going to have to wipe it off a bit. We haven't wet this, so we'll see how we go with it not being wet. That's quite stunning, and it's not even wet. I think it's Khadija, and just pop this on the front half here, the front third of the crease basically. Just pull it up into the crease just to give a little bit of colour there. So basically the crease is going from pink to purple to blue, kind of. One eye looks alright, the other not so much. It's kind of like cutting the crease without actually cutting the crease. And I'm just going back in with the purple, the Lubna, just in this center bit of the crease here. Just intensifying that purple just a little bit and making the shape a bit nicer. Amanda, and just from like the edge of that afghan, so the green, to like the blue, just to make it transition across to the blue a bit nicer. Just need a tiny little bit just on like that edge there in the. Just taking the yellow Michaela, and I'm gonna pop this on the inner corner and see what it looks like. If it doesn't look right, then I will just change it. I'm just gonna layer Saphir, a little bit of Saphir over the top. So that's the eye. I'm going to finish the rest of my base makeup, and then I'm going to come back and do my under eye. Okay, so I've done all my makeup, and I just got to do my lower lash line. So I've done a black wing liner. Lips is Hourglass Confession lipstick in my One Desire. This is like the only nude that I wear at the moment because I absolutely love it. So for my lower lash line, I'm dipping in with Aftab and Earth, and I'm just placing that along my lower lash line with a pencil brush. So this is the first final look with the Blush Tribe Munaza palette. So I'm doing my second look using the Blush Tribe Munaza palette, starting with my paint pot, and I'm just setting that with my Australis Fresh and Flawless. Just taking a MAC 217, and I'm dipping into this one here, which is Khadija, and I'm just popping this in my crease. Then taking a fluffy brush, this is a Crown blending brush, and I'm going to dip into, I think probably Simba. So this one's Simba and this is Sana. So I think I'm probably going to go with Simba, which is the oranger one out of the two. And I'm just placing this above that pink and blending it upwards. So I'm going to clean up this fallout and finish off the rest of my eyes and my base makeup, and then I will come back and show you the final look. Look number 2, I finished off with the Munaza palette. I went in with a combination of Kimberly, which is a shimmery blue here, and Medea? I think it's Medea. So I mixed this one and this one together and ran that along my lower lash line. On my inner corner, I went in with my Kat Von D Alchemist palette. I mixed Sapphire, Amethyst and Opal together and I popped that on my inner corner. I think today I'm going to use a combination of both of them, but I'm going to start with Danger Use. Place that in my crease. I'm then going to take a fluffy blending brush and this colour here, Rapture, and place that on my lid, and I'm just gently dipping in to that colour because I just want a wash. Then going in with Illicit and focusing this on the outer corner, but just very lightly. And then I'm going to go with a combination of Aziza and Lubna, just very lightly on the brush because these ones do pack a punch. I'm going to tap it off as well, and then just with hardly any pressure blend this over the lid. So just very, very gently touching the lid, just to add a bit more of a purple hue to the lid. I'm going to take Rendezvous, which is this lighter shimmery colour, on the same brush and just over all that, just to give it a sheen on the lid. Very simple eyes for today. Alrighty guys, I'm here to do my last look. Might start with my eyelid for today, going in with Michaela, the yellow on my eyelid. I'm going to go in with Munaza, blending that into the yellow and dragging it out to the outer corner. taking a smaller brush with Serengeti, placing that on this outer corner here, just to darken it up just a little bit. And then just back in with Munaza because I've lost some of that colour. Okay, so this is the final look that I came up with. I ended up just taking Munaza on my lower lash line. On the inner corner, I took the Michaela colour on the inner corner, and then I added Sophia. Oh no, I think I've been pronouncing that wrong the whole video. Safae over the top of the yellow on the inner corner, just to make it a little bit more yellow. So you've seen all the swatches and the looks that I came up with. Let me know down in the comments box what your favourite look that I came up with using these two palettes. Now I'm going to show you the few palettes that I found in my collection that kind of duped both of these palettes. So the first one to dupe the Viseart palette was the Too Faced Gingerbread palette. This one doesn't have completely the pinky colour story that the Viseart palette's going for, but I still think you can get the essence of the Viseart palette. You're going to get a little bit more excitement out of the gingerbread palette as opposed to the Tryst palette, but I do think they are really good dupes. If you picked up the gingerbread palette, I don't think you need the Tryst palette at all. Moving on to the Munaza palette, I wasn't able to get as good of a dupe for this palette in my collection, so I do have my Juvia's Place palettes, and if you have either of the Zulu or the Masquerade palette, I don't think you need the Munaza palette. I think you can get pretty much most of the same colours from these two palettes, with possibly picking up a red or an orange from another palette if you want. I hope that was helpful for you. My final thoughts on these two palettes. So starting with the Viseart palette, it is a nice palette, it's a nice formula. I don't think you need to pick it up. I do feel like that this palette's probably not going to get a lot of use compared to other palettes that I use for everyday use. This is probably not going to be one that I will gravitate towards on a daily basis. If you do like that romantic pinky, more pinky look, you might like this palette. You can find these colours pretty easily in other palettes in your collection. You don't need to go out of your way and pick this one up. These are pretty stock standard colours. If you have like the Soft Glam palette or the Sultry palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills, as you saw, if you have the Gingerbread Spice palette, you're going to already have these colours in your collection. Same with some of the shimmers. You're going to have these over and over and over again in your collection. You do not need to pick up this palette for these colors. You already have them, so I encourage you to check out your collection and see what you have in your collection to dupe this palette if you are interested. Try and find these colors before you go out of your way and spend a bucket load of money on this 9-pen palette, because you don't need to. These colors are not revolutionary. It is a nice cup, it is a nice palette, the packaging is really nice. I do like the Viseart formula, it blends really nicely, it is really nice to play with. The looks that I came up with using this palette all the time, they did look really nice. They looked really nice and blended, really smooth. I didn't really have any problems with blending on this. There were a few colours that didn't really have the colour payoff, particularly the shimmers, that I enjoy. I did have to foil them or build them up quite a lot to get the impact that I wanted, but that's just me personally. I am pretty picky when it comes to like my colour payoff. I do like a very bam shimmer in your face. In terms of the Munaza palette, I really like this packaging. In terms of this gold, I really don't like this gold background. I know it looks really pretty, really aesthetically pleasing, but I just don't like it. To me, it really puts me off when I look at the colours. It doesn't help the colours ring true when you're looking at them, and it can be a bit of a put off when you are trying to come up with a look, when you're getting this shimmery reflective gold look back at you and you're trying to see the colours true to colour and how they work together. I think it can be a little bit off-putting. Some of the colours in this palette, I don't think they need to be there. I think some of the colours in this palette are very similar, particularly these two purples, these two reds, this colour here, these two blues. I think there are a lot of colors in this palette that could have been taken out and replaced with something else. I wish this palette as well was laid out better. I'm a big fan of laying a palette out from lightest to darkest. I think that's a good way, or grouping them in quads that they can work together. I don't necessarily think any of these quads could necessarily work together, but this palette just seems a little bit mishmashed. In terms of the formula, the shimmers are beautiful. The shimmers, the impact with the shimmers are absolutely beautiful. They are really buildable. With the matte formula, I feel like there are some differences with the formula, but that is pretty typical. I'm talking like these two reds here. I feel like the red formula compared to like this green formula over here, this green formula is really smooth and buttery, whereas even when you put your finger in to swatch these red colors, they do feel a bit dry, chunky almost. I do like this formula. I do think it's really nice. I did find today using this Munaza color, this is what I've got on my outer corner here, I felt like when I had to blend, I had to do more of a patting blend rather than being able to just like put your brush down and blend as you normally would. This one here and these two red ones, they did stain my eyes. This pink one in particular stained it pretty badly, and that was over the top of a MAC paint pot, setting that paint pot and then laying this one over the top. It still stained my eyes pretty badly, so just a fair warning for that. I think I came up with some really nice looks out of this palette, but I don't think this color scheme is very groundbreaking, and like I said, the way the colors are laid out, it's very mishmash to me, and I wish they just laid it out a little bit more differently to assist people to create looks. Sometimes when I looked at this, I was just like, I don't know what the hell to create. So I think they could assist people with their layout a little bit better. I like the Blush Tribe formula from what I've tried from this palette. There are differences between the colors of the same formulas. I don't think you need this palette. I think if you are already into color, you probably already have these colors in your collection over and over again, like I do. For $47 Australian, I think it's a fair whack of money to be asking, but you are getting 16 shades. So compared to price and what you get, it is pretty reasonable on the Australian makeup market, and then you have to pay shipping on top of that. I know it's not fair for me to speak badly of a brand based on their shipping prices, but 47 Australian dollars is a lot for people to be asking to pay for a palette like this when it's something that you haven't ever tried from a brand before. So yeah, it's a lot of money. I think you have to definitely be wanting to buy the palette, like this color story, potentially like the formula if you've already tried them before. If you're going in blind, I don't know whether you're gonna be happy. I mean, I'm happy. Will it be something that I'm going to grab out of my collection all the time? I don't think so. I don't think this is the best color palette that I've got in my collection. Let me know whether you will be picking up either of these palettes, or if you already have them, what are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comments if you liked this style of video, or would you rather me kind of just do one palette, 3 looks throughout the month rather than a whole monthly roundup. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. Also, click the subscribe button down below so you can keep up to date on all my videos or my palette reviews that are coming. That's it for this video, everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.